Y'all, Wizard101 just had one of the weirdest weeks ever, and today we absolutely need to talk about it because I think this is juicy. Now, in case you've been living under a rock, last Thursday they put out a patch where in PvP, every Shadow Enhanced spell could only be used with 2 Shadow Pips. Now, this is a huge deal, right? This is something that a lot of people have been asking for a really long time, just in PvP, and this is mainly because ever since Darkmoor really came out, all of PvP has revolved around these spells. And a lot of what Wizard101 has been adding recently, whether you like it, whether you find it, you know, enticing or not, a lot of what they've been doing is using your school identity to create all kinds of extra utilities. And a lot of the Shadow Pip heavy gameplay interfered with that. Now, with that update, something extremely unexpected happened, and I think it honestly caused a lot of chaos. And this is gonna sound literally random, but y'all know how there's like a 40% base pip chance? Basically, if you were to do any sort of advanced content, which is raids or PvP where level scaling is involved, for some reason, you would lose that 40% base. That means if I walked into the arena with a build that gave me a 103 pip chance, I would be getting power pips 63% of the time. So since Thursday, I'm making this on a goddamn Wednesday. Since last Thursday, this has been a glitch in the game, almost a full week. And I think this actually, like, you know, like a lot of people had a super negative reaction about this. And I kind of wanted to talk about the validity of that criticism because I just saw it everywhere, especially like, you know, on Discord, Twitter, like, you know, those types of spaces. For one, because this patch went out on a Thursday and, you know, weekends exist, the only time they could have fixed this, if it was, you know, before the weekend, was Friday. And the devs actually put out a notice saying, you know, this is like kind of a crazy bug. If we were to try to fix it today, we could create more issues. And this was actually a message that they sent out in the official Discord server for Wiz, like literally on Friday. And because it was a Labor Day weekend, they couldn't have honestly done anything about it until Tuesday. And it ended up that the maintenance for this was Tuesday night. And honestly, it's kind of astonishing to me that people criticize this so much when literally this glitch happened on Thursday. They tried to fix it on Friday, and then they fixed it by Tuesday. If you log into the game today, Wednesday, you will not encounter this glitch at all. It's been fixed. And frankly, the quality of the update was actually pretty well thought out too. Like, you would think something as fundamentally, like, you know, like game-changing as adding an extra Shadow Pip to spells in PvP, you would think like there would be all kinds of extra steps the player would have to do. But if you're a PvPer and you want to try out what PvP would look like, where shads aren't as, like, you know, crazy oppressive, it's actually a super simple process. Just go to Marco, click on redeem. You just need to buy 1 spellament for each shad you're trying to, you know, switch over to 2 pips. So on my myth, for example, I bought 1 mystic, 1 witch's house call, and 1 snake charmer for 3 tickets, which you only need to do 1 match to get like 20-30 tickets. And then you just click on the spellament and then upgrade it. And what's really cool, let's say that you're done with PvP, you want to do PvE, and you wanted to reset it. Unlike costing crowns with normal spellments, they made this cost 1 gold, which basically makes shads probably the first spell that they've ever added into the game where you can easily for free switch between a PvP and a non-PvP version of a spell. That's a lot of moving parts for what I would consider basically a very quick hotfix, right? Like, make the meta better, right? I feel like this isn't even like a really major update, and yet they did a lot of things well. So is the criticism valid? I don't know if it's 100% valid because I do think it comes from, like, I don't know, a sense of entitlement as a player, like on like a Friday to expect the change to happen on like a Saturday or something. It's kind of weird, and I do think a lot of the heavy critiques, like, I feel like they came from a place where, you know, people tend to forget that the people working on this game, they have 9-to-5s, they got families to go home to, they celebrate Labor Day just like anybody. I don't know, something about the way people criticized it just didn't feel right to me, which is why I kind of wanted to talk about it. Now, that being said, it wouldn't be fair for me to say that this was like, you know, Wizard101's shining moment. They still messed up. And one argument that I do find very convincing, and I don't know if y'all agree with me, but like when they had that issue, right, with the crown shop like about a week ago, the video is right here if you want to check it out. They basically sold an extremely rare mount for gold. This was a crown shop issue, right? As in an item was there for gold that it shouldn't have been. It took them only a few hours to literally patch it out of the game so that no one could, you know, buy this, you know, gobbler for gold. A similar glitch happened later, like, you know, like between then and now. So we're talking a second problem with the crown shop in like a week. And the problem was that these new group and world elixirs, the drop down tab didn't actually work. So you couldn't actually buy these. You could only buy them from this tab in the crown shop. This was also fixed very quickly. A third, maybe even unrelated issue was that the crown shop was crashing a lot. They took down the game and put it back up very quickly when that happened. And this all happened, I want to say, in the past 7 to 10 days. And whether whether this is intentional or not, I think when a player sees, like, you know, something that drives money into the game get that much priority, to the point where the live service of Wizard101 is not taken down when the crown shop is bugged, and they can update it, and then they see PvP and raids and stuff, and it takes them like 6 days to update the game when it's broken. When you compare those two, like, types of updates, I don't know, it feels like almost like a double standard. To a player, it looks like when there's money on the line, KingsIsle will drop everything and hotfix the game and patch the bug out, right, if it loses that money. But the second you have a glitch that turns 103 pip chance into 63 pip chance, we gotta wait 6 days, and, like, we gotta, like, literally suffer through it and literally not be able to do entire side activity. And by the way, I do want to be fair in this. I don't believe, to my knowledge, and y'all can really correct me because I don't know much about this, but I don't believe that there's infrastructure in Wizard101 to, like, live update, like, stats like pip chance in the same way that there's a way to, like, live update the crown shop. They've clearly put resources into upkeeping the crown shop that they haven't put into other parts of the game. So I'm not saying that this specific instance, they had the resources to deal with this any better than they did. But I think they should invest in that. I feel like if there's, like, a game-breaking bug with any stat, I feel like we shouldn't have to wait, even if it's a long weekend, even if, you know, there's a weekend in the middle of this update here and there. Regardless of the time frame, I feel like there should be a way to just log in as, like, an admin, change something, and not have to take the entire servers down, make a big, like, you know, hullabaloo out of it. I feel like they already do that with the crown shop. I don't see why, like, anything on this game would be any different. Again, this could be a serious oversimplification, but I do think that when you do have the ability to change the crown shop at will, and yet you have this problem with literal important stats that you just can't be used, like, I don't know. I feel like the double standard's kind of weird. So I'm in this weird spot where I made this video because I don't believe most of the criticism around this and the devs, like, not caring or something. I don't think that's fair, but I do think there's a pattern here when it comes to what they'll hotfix quick and what they won't. And the players aren't stupid, they notice it too. So I do think there's, I don't know, if there's any place for improvement, I think it's there. So I think there's a lesson to be learned from Wiz if they care to do it. I feel like even if a problem doesn't cost money, it should still get the same priority as something that does. They're both important to the health of the game. That was just a TLDR on the pip glitch, if you didn't know. Thankfully, it is fixed now, so that's why I made the video. In case y'all didn't know, you can actually do PvP in a totally new context. It's gonna be crazy. Y'all should tune into the streams. You can also do raids again if you need to. So if you guys were, like, I don't know, doing raids for some reason and you were, you know, experiencing pip fail central, that's also working. So hopefully I can stream that for y'all too. But I don't know, I want to get my hot takes on this and get y'all to talk about it too. What do you guys think about how they handled all of this? Do you guys think the criticism's fair on them? Do you guys think it's not? As always, drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub for new, and if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. I look forward to reading all of y'all's comments. Stay awesome, see y'all soon, and yeah.